All right, let's begin. Every farmer has a relative named Angie. That's weird and oddly specific and untrue. You wake up to a rooster every day. Not true, because as you can see when I let Penny the rooster out, he wasn't really crowing until he was outside, and so I'm usually the one letting the rooster out, so I'm up before the rooster, and then the rooster starts crowing. You're constantly covered in poop. I would not say I'm constantly covered in poop. I definitely get my fair share of poop, and I bet if you examined my boots here, you'd find a fair share of poop there. But constantly covered? I mean, I assume that farming kills the liking of punk rock music. That is 100% not true, because actually probably the genre of music I listen to the most is punk rock. If you look at my regular rotation as I'm working out here around the farm, punk rock and farming, they can go together. I assume that you leave the ducks and geese out supervised only by Toby all day while you work. That's totally true. So most days, like especially days where I'm working my day job, I will definitely be inside the house working. I might hop out during lunchtime and just check on things and see if everything's okay or refill a waterer or something. But for the most part, I leave them completely unsupervised. Toby's job here on the farm is to protect the birds, and so he stays out there full time with them just by himself at this point. When he was younger, I would restrict his access as I was training him. Now that he's almost a year old, he's got complete free access all around the duck and goose area 24/7, and so he spends a lot of time just sort of hanging out with the ducks and geese, watching over them. Is it true that farmers like chewing on straw/wheat? No, not really. Farmers have to own huge cars. This one might have some merit to it. I mean, I'm thinking about every farmer I know, and they all drive pickup trucks at this point. I think maybe one or two of them have like Priuses and pickup trucks. Generally speaking, you need a pickup bed to move around things like hay and straw and feed and building supplies. And so a pickup truck really does come in handy. Farmers' diet consists of 99% farm-grown products. If you mean farm-grown products like from your own farm, I'd say that that's not true. I eat like a ton of eggs. We eat a ton of vegetables that come here from the farm. But in terms of like the percentage of our diet, I would say, especially this time of year, maybe half of our diet is coming from stuff produced here on the farm. Farmers eat bacon and eggs every morning, often before sunrise. No, definitely not true. City people can't learn to farm. Ooh, that one really gets my goat. Because as a former city person trying to learn to farm, I would say what I'm doing is not impossible, so I would say I am disproving that assumption. Assume that farmers are a dying breed as their too smart or too lazy children would rather sell land than farm. I think that's a little true, actually. I think it's a tough sell for a kid to want to get into a generational farming thing. I personally think that the bigger opportunity for our farmers of the future actually come from people who don't come from farmers. I mean, I count myself among them, right? Daylight savings time isn't actually often used by farmers. Used is an interesting word. I actually find that daylight savings time really does kind of wreak havoc a little bit here on the farm. Our animals are going off a schedule that's based on the sun. I assume farmers have no holiday break or annual leave. That's not true. I mean, you know, once a year we try to take a vacation here, like just back in February, which is really the quietest time of the year here on the farm. We got a farm sitter, and Allison and I went out to Spain, and it was so cool to just spend time together, not have responsibilities like we have here on the farm, and just relax, as well as just see a whole different perspective on the world. It is absolutely much harder to get away. Like if I wanted to go somewhere for a day or two, I'd still have to think about farm coverage and who's doing what, but it's not impossible, so I'd say that that's untrue. Small farms don't really have a chance against big industrialized farms. I don't know. I think the deck is definitely stacked against small farms, both in terms of the scale and economics of your operation, as well as just our regulatory framework currently, and sort of what's subsidized and what isn't, and what sort of behaviors our government incents. So from that perspective, I would say that's true. But I also think that small farms have unique competitive advantages. Farmers like country music. Yeah, no, I mean, I guess I like a little Johnny Cash. I like some older country music, original Hank Williams, that sort of thing. I assume that geese are actually winged tyrants trying to take over the world one farm at a time. Very true. Okay, Toby, this last assumption is all about you. It says, I assume that Toby is the bestest boy and deserves all his smashed eggs. That is 100% true. Here you go, bud. Eat up.